Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish is still in Zombieland. Where is Vermin Supreme? Where is Vermin Supreme? Goat versus fish is still
right
all
here.
alone, but no longer alone in Zombieland.
I live in the
Look,
wall.
it's Vermin Supreme. It is Vermin
Can you hear
Supreme.
me?
Celebration for a Vermin Supreme.
Can you
Celebration
hear
for a
me?
Vermin
Can you hear
Supreme.
me? I'm in the wall. I think I'm in the walls. Can you hear me?
Oh, you are trapped in the fence. Are you trapped by the fence? Oh no, Vermin Supreme, trapped by the fence.
Defense, 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 defense.
Oh no, you are defenseless against the fence. You are defenseless against the fence. We wish to free you. We wish to free you from the fence with the power of Goat versus Fish. Are you there? Can you hear Goat versus Fish? Can you hear Goat versus Fish?
Mr. Fish Goat, I presume. Mr. Fish Goat, it's a pleasure to meet you live and in fishy goat smell. Now, some say that you smell more like a goat, and some say you smell more like a fish. Which do you think?
Well, this is the verses of the fence-demic, of the fence-demic. Yes, the pandemic spreads all around the universe. The pandemic spreads all around the universe, and it separates goat from fish. It separates goat from fish. You cannot even smell Goat versus Fish through the Zoom of Zombieland. You cannot even perceive truly Goat versus Fish. We wonder if you cannot smell Goat versus Fish. How will you know? How will you know what is the smell of Goat versus Fish?
I can't smell the goat through the screen here.
Well, let us, perhaps if we just give you some aid, perhaps if we give you this goat, perhaps now can you smell the goat? Or perhaps if it's two goats, now can you smell the goat?
No.
Or perhaps more goat. Maybe we just need more goat for you to smell the goat.
Goats are very fragrant, you know. Goats are one of the more fragrant of the mammals, rivaled only by fish. And of course, fish smell fine. Fresh fish is great. Fresh fish don't smell at all. But once they're rotting, on the other hand, when a goat rots, it ain't no bed of roses either, quite frankly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Goat versus Fish knows what you are saying. You know, in some of the verses, most of the political verses to Goat versus Fish are very fancy and not choosing goat or fish, but they do say this. They say some verses, a fish rots from the head down. Is this what you have found? Is this what you have found?
How does a goat rot?
Well, we suppose it would be the reverse. If a fish rots from the head down, then we suppose a goat would rot from the tail up, because a goat is goat while a fish is fish, and that is Goat versus Fish, and that is Goat versus Fish. What are you consuming? What are you consuming to Goat versus Fish? Is it a goat or a fish?
Goat.
What is you are consuming, Vermin Supreme?
Goat.
Are you consuming a goat?
Well, I'm not. Goat ain't got my vote. No, I'm just eating goat.
So you are not voting for goat. That means you are voting for fish.
I've eaten fish. I've eaten goat. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you can tell me if you prefer to eat the goat or you prefer to eat the fish. That would be a versus of Goat versus Fish. Does Vermin Supreme prefer to consume goat or fish?
Well, goat meat is good, but there's so many different types of fish. There's not many types of goat, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, they may say like, oh, there's this one and that one, and miniature goats and jumbo goats and billy goats, but they're all pretty much goats, and I'm guessing they pretty much taste the same. But fish, we're talking about fish, there's a real variety of fish in the sea, and a lot of them have very distinct flavors, depending on how you prepare them, of course. So there's a lot of factors to consider, which I prefer. But I think, in general, I think I would probably order a fish off the menu before I got a goat.
It would order fish. It would order a fish.
I mean,
here's the service of fish. Here's the service of fish. Goat versus Fish serves the fish to you. Goat versus Fish is in service of Vermin Supreme with fish.
Is the goat a jerk or not? Yeah.
A jerked goat? It could be. There are many different kinds of goat. You never quite know what kind of goat or fish it is going to be until you ask it if it is goat or fish.
Well, a jerk goat is pretty tasty. I mean, I will give you that. I mean, generally don't see goat on the menu too often. But if you
This is pitiable. There should be more goat and more fish. Everywhere you look, you should have the choice of goat or fish.
It could be fairly tasty. Although I would have to consider it. I have to weigh it heavily. Like I say, fish is more readily different textures, different flavors. Yeah. Anyway,
Now, Vermin Supreme.
what do you like? Which do you vote? What's your best? Who's your favorite?
Ah, look at Vermin Supreme. Look at Vermin Supreme trying to get out of the one true question by turning it upon Goat versus Fish. You know that it is Goat versus Fish, and you know that Goat versus Fish is here to ask you the one true question. With all watching before you, they are clamoring to know. They are clamoring to know. Vermin Supreme, are you Goat or are you Fish?
If a fish and a goat got in a fight, who would win?
Well, that is Goat versus Fish. That is Goat versus Fish. But are you Goat or Fish, Vermin Supreme? Are you Goat or are you Fish? This is the versus. The versus is now. The versus is now. Are you Goat or are you Fish?
Am I a fish or am I a goat?
Yes, that is the question of Goat versus Fish. We wish to know if you're Goat or Fish.
I didn't know that. I don't like that question. It makes no sense to me.
Well, you do not have to like the question, but it is the one true question. Are you Goat or are you Fish?
It is the one question that you ask, for sure. I will say
we do ask it, and many others ask it as well, yes.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I can't walk down the street without having half a dozen people asking me goat or fish in this day and age.
Oh, how Goat versus Fish would hope that following this versus, everyone started asking you if you're a goat or fish. That is how we knew it would really be Goat versus Fish.
Do. You should see the message board. It's lighting up. It's crazy.
Messages of Goat versus Fish. So is this to say that when confronted with the one true question of Goat versus Fish, though you have had long to ponder, that you are saying you do not like the question and you refuse to answer Goat versus Fish? Is this what you say to Goat versus Fish when we ask, are you Goat or are you Fish?
I suppose it would be fair. I mean, it sounds like one of those gotcha questions, you know? And I don't know.
Well, you have only got yourself. You have only got yourself. Vermin Supreme, Vermin Supreme, Vermin Supreme is on the fence. Vermin Supreme is on the fence. Oh no, Vermin Supreme is on the fence. It is on the fence. Oh, look at you trying to outfence Goat versus Fish. Outfence Goat versus Fish.
Mine doesn't squeak. You mean squeak.
Well, you know, Vermin Supreme, even though you sit on the fence and this is most pitiable to Goat versus Fish, we could sing you a song of celebration if you wish. We could celebrate Vermin Supreme with a song of celebration of a fence sitter if you wish.
Oh, that would be swell, but we got a lot of things going on, and we have to get to the next act. I'm being told by our producers up in the producing booth here. And so, yeah, okay, it's rolling up here. So I guess we're going into the next entertainment.
Well, if Goat versus Fish could just have a final. Thank you for welcoming Goat versus Fish. Thank you for welcoming Goat versus Fish. Follow Goat versus Fish on all social media at Goat versus Fish. Never gonna choose a goat. Never gonna choose a fish. Never gonna choose a goat or fish. Never gonna choose a goat. Never gonna choose a fish.
Well, anyway, I guess thank you very much, Goat versus Fish. It was
always thank Goat versus Fish
of you to take your some time out of your very, very busy schedule and gracing us with your presence here on the internet today. And we look forward to working with you in the future. And yes. So once again, it's me, it's Vermin Supreme, and I believe that I'm here and